And beautiful morning, everyone. This is Midnight Brands coming to you on Thursday, May 25th, 2023 for prep. Gonna jump into things here today. We've got all the indices all prepped and ready to go from a futures perspective. Didn't get to SVXY, SPY, Qs. We'll hit up a couple of them here live as we go through things. Just got a lot of family event type of things going on, and so weren't able to get through them. But man, how about that NVIDIA? You want to talk about a rocket? 300 to 395 within a blink of an eye. Holy, really makes you wish you'd taken some lotto ones. 25%, 30% out of the money on that one for sure. So, in any event, we're gonna go ahead and jump into things. As a reminder, folks, we are not financial analysts. We are not financial advisors. Nothing we say or do is any kind of a buy or sell recommendation. As always, please check our disclosures by going to Midnight Brands on Substack, and you can read our full list of disclosures there. With that, we'll go ahead and jump right into it. Big kind of econ stuff here this morning is we've got weekly jobless claims and continuing here at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. Natural gas data at 9:30. So if you are still bludgeoning yourself trying to trade nat gas, keep that in mind. Speaking for somebody who completely lost track of time yesterday on crude, and the inventories that came out on that just caught us by surprise. We were short, forgot about the time, didn't notice it, and volume was so thin our stop didn't get triggered like it should have at I think 10 or 15 ticks from where we'd entered, because it was a decent spot on the enter. Crude spiked up, and we didn't get covered for like 50 ticks, and so really painful, especially seeing as how that was like the high of the day, and then it faded right from what we were looking at the look, which we'll highlight again for folks. So with that, we're going to go ahead and jump right into ES, NQ, all the rest of those good babies, and have fun. So ES got some good zones here today, really clean ones, really in our minds. Just a couple of things we're adding to them. So the ones that call out is this weekly full. So you get the lower high here back earlier this week. You can kind of see that there. It's also the weekly full ADR up here, and it's a low volume node on this one as well. So definitely some structure and stuff up and through here. This is definitely a fairly big one of interest if we do decide to come up here and tag this. Definitely just a couple of divs here. Ones that you want to keep an eye out for. I mean, you got an gap fill right there with high volume node. Had some structure, it looks like, in the overnight type of session stuff there. And then you've got this div here, which has got an NVPOC. This is our tier 2 daily cheat and a combo high volume node there. We added this one here too. So this one is our tier 1 daily cheat. But more importantly, look at this structure through here. Like, sliced right through, came back, tried to test to go above, fail. Come back, can't even get to that spot. Come up, can't get a bar close, same. Push through, test hold, and then fail here. So to us, this is a pretty big, important div here, right at this, like, what's that, 41, 65, 68 area. So really kind of important on that one. Other than that, I mean, the rest of the stuff's pretty all straightforward and simple. Really interesting, though, I would note, we talked about yesterday in one of the rooms is, and look at that dick for tick there on the weekly full ADR. I mean, yes, and don't get me wrong, there's tons of other evidence there at the lows yesterday. I just thought it was really interesting. So SPY was like 10 cents off, 15 cents off from touching its weekly full. ES was much bigger. I mean, it looks like it on this zoomed out chart where it hit it, damn near to the tick, but it was actually off by like 5 points, 8 points, something like that. So, in any event, the other one to note out and to call out here is this trend strength reference point zone. So expanded it. It was just 50-day gap fill, so we expand that to grab the supply and demand, as well as 50-day and gap fill in there. I guess the other one is, you know, this trend guide combo point of control, so expanded that also to come down and grab the combo point of control and the tier 1 end of week cheat. On that one, I don't think there's anything else on ES. I think this one's super clean. It's really kind of a clear one. This again is that first one to keep an eye on. Like, what do we do here? Like, we've rejected this spot a number of times, and so like, what are we gonna do here at that block? So it'll be really interesting there. We have not come up and touched it overnight. We are flirting with that 20-day MPP. This block right here at the moment. So yeah, moving on. So in Q, pretty straightforward. Were a couple of things in here we had to go through and adjust. So, you know, adjusted this div here to include the weekly IB stat high. These ones are pretty straightforward, but just given kind of this big push, and there's probably even an ABCD here. Didn't draw because, like, where do you draw? Do you start here? Do you start there? Probably make the better case to actually start here, go from here up. But in any event, there you go. So noted out that zone, weekly full ADR, quarterly trend guide reversal. That was one that we had mentioned that we were trying to keep an eye on all week long. Specifically, you know, there's a lot of things that are up there at that quarterly trend guide reversal, so it'd be really nice to see a bunch of all of them hit it at the same time. Under pretty clean zones. Let's see if there's anything else we added or needed to note in here. I don't think so. I actually will note in reference, this trend strength reference point zone now has full ADRs. So full ADRs have moved all the way up into monthly trend guide reversal 2, trend strength reference point, gap fill from yesterday. And so, like, this would be a massive move to come back and tag this. You know, probably in hindsight should have tagged some of these other ones, but we're already up like 200 some points, 120. But that doesn't include what we, you know, just leapt for overnight after Nvidia's close. So I mean, you go from this 13,550, we're already up 300 plus some points from where things sat. So in any event, you got this trend guide reversal one here. We moved it down a little bit to grab the 20-day EMA and the daily anchor VWAP, plus the IB stat low, and then added this weekly photo supply and demand swinging anchor VWAP, which you can see there from May 4th. Looks like at 10 a.m. Monthly trend guide reversal, weekly trend guide. But look, if we come through and we blow out this this trend strength reference point, monthly trend guide reversal 2, you know, do you really want to trust this, or do you start saying, okay, let's watch for this one here, you know, set a lower low, break a bunch of people's hearts, etc., and then, you know, take out that, you know, go do something like test the weekly full, or, you know, maybe come down and like this. That would just be stupid, kind of crazy, but who knows? There's still lots of debt ceiling talk noise. You know, we pulled back just a hair on the symmetrical extremes, and just, I mean, obviously with this move, shot right back. I mean, hell, Nvidia and SMH, I mean, just absolutely crazy on what they've done with that move. And then even, you know, AMD Sympathy, you know, is up $12 from its close yesterday. $10, sorry. It got up $12 because it went and tagged 120. So if you're going to short these, I mean, be careful stepping in front of a freight train. These look like they're going to keep going. Could they stop? Absolutely, but I'd be very hesitant. So in any event, RTY moving on here. So RTY, fairly straightforward. We did change this one here to be a zone to include the 200-day weekly IB stat and your monthly trend guide. It was definitely some structure and stuff from earlier this week, so we just felt like it made more sense to treat that as a full zone as opposed to a div. It looks wide, but I mean, you're talking about 5 or 6 points in a pretty massive area. So underneath there, really most things are all pretty straightforward and simple. Did adjust this one, so you know this inside spot here, it's trend strength reference points, weekly pivot, etc. Like I just didn't sit right to include this. It definitely has been some interaction off a monthly pivot. And you got some back here on May 4th. You got some interactions here. You know, didn't want to push above. Finally pushed above. Test, hold. Sliced right through. Tried to test, fail. Couldn't even get a close above it. So really kind of thinking of this more as a div, and then kind of watching these lower edge zones here. So yeah, I don't know there's a whole lot else. I mean, obviously, again, same thing. If we decide to fail, I mean, full ADRs are down here. Didn't mark that. You know, it's definitely a spot here. You've got tier 1 end of week cheat, naked VA, tier 2 daily full. So I mean, definitely probably should have marked these ones. That'd be about 40 some points probably on the day by the time you're said and done with, you know, our push up and push down, especially since full is right here. So full is about 35. So yeah, if we come down here, you're talking about another, you know, 10-ish points. So maybe about 45, give or take. In any event, that's kind of what and how we saw RTY. YM didn't do a thing with it really. Just kind of took the zones as is. So I'll leave those there on the screen for a second. All right, so YM, and then let's move on. So we have GC here. GC rejecting yesterday the that swing anchor VWAP 50-day weekly pivot. So big kind of rejection there. Did actually a slightly higher high and reject. Completely missed, just focused elsewhere, had other things going on, just kind of busy with some other things at the moment. In any event, I mean, nice kind of rejection off of that, trying to come down and hold here in the overnight session, and not even wanting to get up into this trend strength reference point. So we added that as a zone there. There's also the gap fill, certainly one to keep an eye on, but just didn't include it as part of that trend strength reference point zone. Did add all the way down here. This would be getting into some big pieces of our weekly full ADR, weekly trend guide reversal 2, gap fill, monthly trend guide reversal 2, and our tier 1 OPEX. Of course, keep in mind we do have a gap fill just above here, and then at weekly photo ADRs, there's also a gap fill right there. And then the other one to note, if we decide to actually go towards the upside, watch out for this supply and demand swing anchor VWAP 20-day, which is also a daily anchor VWAP there from May 10th. So, daily is going to be probably just a touch higher from a little bit extra volume and so forth. And then CL, this is the one I was talking about, really pissed me off type of thing. So, probably had the short off of this candle here. I think it's somewhere up in this block. Covered some of it. Candle came back up a little bit and started fading, so I added back my my stuff with the stop being right here. And then, like I said, the volume was so thin, we shot all the way up, and looked like it was going to continue on for a while. So I just said, "Fuck it." Didn't want a revenge trade, didn't want to go down the wrong path, and so I just said, left it alone. Certainly aggravating because you can see here, it came back, did a much lower high, especially on a 60-minute candle here, which is what these are, is 60 minutes. So I did a much lower high there, and then just completely fell apart from 74.50 down to 73 something. So But like I said, you know what? I just said screw it. You know, missed it. I'm gonna be upset. I'm not gonna trade it right. No sense in trying to revenge it. And so just folded up shop and walked away and went back and just focused on the indices. So in any event, all pretty clean here, generally speaking. So ignored this as a zone. This kind of, you know, basic start to an auto supply and demand in the tier 1 daily cheat, and really just chose to focus, leave that as a div, leave this as a bigger zone here with trend guide reversal, weekly anchor VWAP, this week's highs, obviously. Tier 1 end of week cheats, weekly photo ADRs, all kind of right there. So again, was a super big zone, good shot to have tried taking yesterday. Underneath you get, and we adjusted this one here, we moved it up to ignore weekly trend guide, certainly with some structure there, but more important to us was to come up and grab that swing anchor VWAP, 50-day gap fill, quarterly pivot, and trend strength reference point. Didn't do anything here. You know, you could say, oh, take this down and include trend guide, and just left this trend guide one by itself as is. It's interesting that Crude is trading and keep trying to hold this this horizontal line here right now. It's at 72.91, so interesting to see what it does. There is a 30-minute swing anchored VWAP from May 22nd at 1:30. I think you could argue that it's trying to hold there. Let me make sure that's not a violated one. No, yeah, it's sitting there trying to hold that swing anchored VWAP there, but in any event, just adding the other ones here. So just keep in mind, like, if we do keep coming down here, definitely want to note the daily anchored VWAPs here at the 72.27 level, and then at the zone right below. So you know, certainly a really big VWAP pinch here. You could add, you know, this is going to be where that May 15th one is at. And so, but like the May 4th and May 15th are just really close on top of each other, but you know, don't want to lose sight of that. So got a daily anchor VWAP there, multi trend guide reversal, photo ADRs, and then choose to fail that. There's one right below there at the weekly pivot, daily anchor VWAP, combo point of control, full ADR. So definitely big ones. And then did note down here, right? You got this zone here. You know, so weekly photo, gap fill, but potential div right above that at the combo high volume node and the tier 2 daily cheat, with a really big one down much lower at trend guide reversal tier 3 daily cheat. So I'm gonna call that one here, folks. We got some other things, like I said, going on here this week. So we'll just pull up SPY and just kind of talk through these things super quick, and that'll be it. I'm not going to go through SVXY or VIX here today. Just going to pull up the SPY pieces and cues like this, draw my quick pieces on them, and call it a day. So yeah. So got that little block there. You got this one. Really just combining this into one. Get your trend strength reference point. There you go. So generally speaking, pretty straightforward. Obviously this block here, you're going to go ahead and add extend up to grab weekly trend guide 2. You could also say, hey, let's go down and grab that gap fill. It's, you know, if we're digging down this low, obviously it gets to be a really big zone. So you could treat it as 2, or just ignore the weekly trend guide 2 and just pay more attention to the swing anchor VWAP, gap fill, and top edge of supply and demand, and treat weekly trend guide 2 as a div. Same concept here. I mean, this would be a div to me, this tier 1 daily cheat. let's see, up here, so obviously added and extended this up to be weekly pivot, and then added this big zone up here of the weekly full monthly trend guide. Certainly some structure and stuff through here. And bottom edge of supply and demand, just didn't quite get it dragged up there to capture all that. So and then we'll look at the Qs super quick. And then we got to get out of here. Okay, so Qs. Definitely have some VWAP hygiene to take care of here. Full EDRs are not going to be there anymore because we've gapped up $6+ This is really kind of pointless to grab this, but just in case we do decide to do something silly, give it all back on jobless claims or something like that, because we're way the heck up here. And so this could be, again, where we set up what I was talking about is coming all the way up here and grabbing these ones that I've been waiting for and hoping for all week. Unfortunately, I took too short of option chain and didn't buy myself enough time. I was really kind of thinking we'd get that Wednesday with an anticipation of running into NVIDIA's earnings. And then I wasn't expecting disappointing or anything. I didn't expect a 95-point move on that. So any event, should have bought myself more time, knew better, just didn't execute the right way. So sucks. Just have to keep that in mind. So I don't know there's really much I'm going to add else in here commentary wise or anything else. And actually, no, we're gapped up $7, 338.03. So really massive, massive move here. You know, $4 or $5 move. I mean, definitely puts this this into play. And hell, I would even say that it puts this block up here into play. Because if we're opening up at 338 and people want to keep buying from there, $4 or $5, I mean, that's nothing, even $6. So yeah. Let's go ahead and do this real quick. Let's go ahead and just note out the high value area, and then let's go down and grab like that. Oh shit, might as well just grab the supply and demand there. So all pretty straightforward, really, if you look at it, right? I mean, leave that one really kind of as is. I mean, sure, you could take it down and grab the tier 1 daily cheat. We're already shot past it, so you know, maybe it comes back down, tests this, the lower edge supply and demand, point of control. Is a little bit concerning that it's way the hell up here, but whatever, that's just where it is. So then down in the lower end, right, so you got trend guide, weekly pivot, swinging VWAP, which is now trash, gap fill, which will have shot above. Then you get a trend strength reference point, monthly trend guide reversal 2. I don't like this trend guide reversal. It's all by itself. You could certainly drag it up to include high volume nodes, supply and demand, or you can make it much larger and go from trend guide reversal to the bottom edge of supply and demand. It's almost a $2 zone, so that's just too big for our liking. But in any event, that is the Qs, and just gonna leave it there. So hopefully everybody has a great one today. Remember, there is the jobless claim stuff here at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. So keep that in mind as stuff plays out here. So that is it, and we will catch